What has been described as a major environmental scandal, the apparently doomed Great Barrier Reef in Australia has not only recovered from critical damage, parts of it have never been better. As recently as May, we were being told to kiss goodbye to the majestic 1,500-mile coral structure by hysterical environmentalists who warned that global warming was killing it off. According to the fear-mongering boffins, the watery wonder has been suffering from unprecedented mass bleaching, where the plants which live on the reefs and provide food for it die off due to warmer seas. Well, all of that has been thrown out the window by a bombshell new report conducted by the Australian Institute of Marine Science, which reveals that coral cover across two-thirds of the reef is now at its highest level in 36 years of observations. So something fishy's going on here, and as Ross Clark writes in The Spectator, the speed of the recovery of coral is remarkable. In 2016, the entire reef was declared dead in an obituary published in the environmental magazine Outside. But like the stories of people saved from cremation by a slight twitch at the 11th hour, its death seems to have been exaggerated. So, Brendan O'Neill, has the thriving Great Barrier Reef debunked the doomsday narrative around climate change?
I think it has, or it certainly should contribute to that debunking. And I think we should remind ourselves how huge the Great Barrier Reef story was. I mean, this was doing the rounds for quite a few years. We were told about it all the time in almost every climate change discussion I've been a part of over the past few years. People would raise the Great Barrier Reef and its death and the fact that the plants were dying and therefore the animals would die and this wonderful piece of land would be destroyed by evil humankind. It became a real poster boy for the doom-mongering of the chattering classes. And now we know that actually its death has been greatly exaggerated. As you say, there is now more cover in terms of the plants and the coral there than there has been for 37 years. And it's doing pretty well. So it's another apocalyptic story that has proved to be false.
I know. And Brendan, this has happened so many times before, hasn't it? I mean, the ozone hole, the Maldives were meant to be underwater by now. I mean, time and again. But it doesn't seem to make a difference when we try and point out to some of these eco-extremists, oh, you know what, where's your evidence for this? I mean, Lord David Frost, the great Lord David Frost this week, being absolutely slammed because he said, look, climate change is happening, but there's no evidence that we're in a climate emergency.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, there are so many eco-apocalypses that were predicted but never happened. And you can trace them back over the past 30, 40, 50 years. We were told that there would be global cooling, that there would be a real freezing of the planet. Of course, that's now gone out the window. We were told there was a population bomb. That was the big scare story of the 1970s. There would be too many people. We'd run out of food. We wouldn't be able to feed everyone. That didn't happen either, although we may now run out of food as a result of eco-hysteria and eco-policies, not because of a population bomb. And, you know, we were told about acid rain and the ozone layer and all those issues that we were beaten across the head with for decades, none of which came to fruition. Peak oil is another one. How much did we talk about peak oil about 10 or 15 years ago? Oil was running out. There wasn't a single drop left. That wasn't true. So all of these apocalypses that were predicted simply didn't happen. And that should at least make us skeptical of the eco-fear-mongering that is going on today, where we're told that 1 billion people will die as a result of climate change. I just don't believe it.
Well, no, I don't believe it either. And what we certainly shouldn't believe, Brendan, is sections of the media which are really sort of amping up the hysteria because they think it's good for ratings or good for clicks. I mean, remember Sky News said that Buckingham Palace could be flooded in a few years. That was completely debunked. The Guardian's coverage of this has been absolutely telling. I mean, they're devastated, Brendan. They're devastated that the coral reef has been saved, the Great Barrier Reef has been saved, and they don't want to admit it. I mean, listen to their report. The World Heritage Site has some capacity for recovery, but the window is closing fast as the climate continues to warm. That's absolutely not what this report shows. There's nothing to worry about. The Great Barrier Reef is in better shape than it has been for 3 decades.
Absolutely. And to people like me and you, that is great news. It's wonderful that the Great Barrier Reef is in good health. It's a wonderful part of the world, and it's good that it's in good condition. It's not dying, as we were told. But the reason The Guardian and other eco-hysterics are actually a bit depressed about this news is because it has chipped away at this particular story, which they did so much to promote. But more importantly, it's chipped away at the entire edifice of climate change scaremongering and this notion that we are on the cusp of an apocalypse. We are told that all the time these days. Every time there's a heat wave or particularly heavy rain or floods, even volcanic eruptions or plagues of locusts, any natural phenomena that happens around the world is instantly blamed on climate change, which really is a way of saying it's mankind's fault. We are plunging the world into doom. I think we need more skepticism about this, and we need to start demanding that our political class should focus more on the real problems we face rather than fantasy end-of-the-world scenarios.
Yeah, very true. And we're going to get a lot of it, aren't we, Brendan, over the next 4 days? My goodness. Because, you know, it's the middle of summer, it's August, and guess what? It's going to be 30 degrees. The world is ending. Brendan O'Neill, thank you so much.